Well, I have the long view when it comes to the transformation I've seen in survivors
All
of
right. Well,
child
let's hear the
sexual
long
abuse.
view. Yes, please.
Because in many times in the short view, it's pretty tragic. I see people who, especially when they're first coming forward, who are the lowest of the low. But there's this one story that I take with me everywhere, and I know that the work I'm doing is good. And I was working in Delaware, and I was introduced to a survivor at this event, and he was a wreck. He was an absolute wreck. And after I met him, I talked to his friend, and I'm like, we need to think about suicide intervention. We need to think about this. We need to think about that, so on and so forth. And within about 5 or 6 years, this person got the help he needed and took care of himself and used the work that I do and that my colleagues do to empower himself. And now he's a state legislator in Pennsylvania. And it's like every time I see him, I'm just like, oh my God, and I have a very dear colleague in the movement who was battling a pretty severe weight problem. And then all of a sudden it started to fall off. I'm like, what's going on? She's like, I'm letting go of my grief. And it just happens. And you see as people begin to understand and grow and mature, and I really like that a lot. And I really like going to events where people who come up to me and they say, well, I read your book and something happened and I was able to intervene. And I understood prevention, or someone came forward to me and I had something that I knew what to say because I had your book.
Could
And
you tell us the title of the book that you're addressing right now? Because I want to make sure people get the name of the book.
well, the first one, the prevention one, is The Well Armored Child. It's a parent's guide to preventing child sexual abuse. And it's a toolkit that goes by age category. So you don't have to sit and read the whole book if your kid is 13 or 14. But it addresses the serious issues that these kids face throughout these points in their lives that will make them more vulnerable to abuse. Just like the woman in Lauren's story became a very unattractive target, my goal is to help parents make their kids very unattractive targets to predators.